Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate the opportunity to share my knowledge with you and hopefully have conversations or start conversations around something that is arguably very challenging. We know that mobility is a big priority, and we've talked a lot about this in various different aspects of this community. But I want to share something that was near and dear to my heart, specifically in the realm of weight loss. And this is something that I hope to provide a lot of value on for the Sustainable 60 group. Um, and it's the idea of emotional eating. Um, Self-soothing is a normal behavior. That's something that all of us seek to do when things become overwhelming. And we have so many different strategies for how we go about doing this. Um, and you can call it self-medicating, self-soothing. I actually just did an exercise today that I'm going to share with you in a resource after this, um, where you sit down and write all of the ways that you are self-medicating or self-soothing. Um, I have my journal where I wrote everything down. I highly recommend getting a journal. I'm new to it. I've done it in various different ways, but my handwriting is terrible, so it's always been my incentive not to do it. I'm doing it now, and it actually has been incredibly helpful. So we'll go through a sequence of stuff where you can tune into your own body and then write down what you're feeling, if you can get that far, and then write down how you feel in the moment, how you the things you grab for to self-soothe. And one of the top things on my list for self-soothing is food. So a little bit of a backstory on this. I'll try to keep it as short as I can, but for those of you who know, I was not a fit kid. I was not a kid who, like, the presidential physical fitness test is something that still gives me anxiety to this day. Like, I feel that, I think about that kid when I go up to go for a run or when I go up to do pull-ups. I didn't do my first successful pull-up until I was 26 years old at 220 pounds coming down. So I am not you're like, yes, I'm a gym guy now, but I was not a gym guy for most of my life. So in reality, when I would come home from school, I was kind of the typical 90s latchkey kid. I would come home from school, would be by myself because my parents would be working, and I was lonely. I was really, really lonely. And I have a distinct memory of cooking 2 packs of ramen, pouring juice into a bowl because I just felt like I wanted to eat it like soup. Uh, and then getting tired of trying to eat it like soup and then drinking it because obviously it's juice. Um, but eating 2 packs of ramen, eating the Snackwell's Devil's Food cookies, and then watching Arthur um, before eventually deciding to do my homework. But I distinctly remember sitting in my living room eating all of this food, and then once I finished a little bit of my homework, I went and cooked dinner, and then I would eat a whole dinner because I was often cooking so that my mom wouldn't have to, and there'd be food ready for my sisters when they came home. And that continued in various different ways for a long time until I found BMX, where I would just be out riding all day. I would come home, I'd eat something, I'd get on my bike, and I would disappear until whenever, and then eventually, hopefully, get my homework done. Um, but that's not to say that BMX was the healthiest thing. I had swapped one self-soothing loneliness behavior for another. Um, Luckily, the net positive of BMX was so much higher in finding community and finding an activity that I loved to strive for. So fast forward into my adult life as an engineer, I was self-soothing with food again because I couldn't ride. I was stressed to the gills. My boss would scream at me constantly for things some mistakes I made because I was a brand new engineer, but some mistakes that weren't my fault. But because I was the engineer, I should have stopped it, even though I was the most junior person at the company. So, like telling the salesperson to not do something, or talking to my boss, like my direct boss, being like, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. And then him agreeing with me. And then we go to do something and then we get screamed at anyway. So all of that is to say, I was self-soothing with food pretty aggressively. I would eat 2 bagels. I would come home and I would eat pizza and I would have a beer or two. Um, and I mean, it was no surprise. I wasn't moving. Um, I got up to 240 pounds at 25 years old. And I mean, I've told the story a couple different times, but like I couldn't touch my toes. I couldn't do a set of push-ups. I got out of breath really quickly. And then on the occasion I did get to ride, all of my old injuries would creep up because I was heavier and I hadn't been taking care of myself. So like, of course I couldn't hop as high or do the tricks that I used to be able to do because my body just wasn't built for it anymore. Um, so even as a personal trainer, even having been single digit body fat percentage, I have experienced the desire and have indulged the desire to emotionally eat. And I know that that feels probably very uncharacteristic for somebody who helps people do this for a living, but I'm being honest with you. Like, I still feel the call to emotionally eat. Whenever I'm overwhelmed, whenever I am stressed out, frustrated, the first thing that my brain says is, how about some chips? You know, how about some cookies? Pizza sounds great right now. Um, and if that's something that resonates with you, like, please know that you're not alone. Even the fittest people in the world, sometimes actually the fittest people in the world, will still have all of this food hunger or food noise and can't get past it. So you're not alone. It's okay if this is your big struggle. It's okay if it's not. It's okay if there's something else that's calling to you constantly. It's exhausting to say no all the time, especially when you know that the reality is it probably will feel good for a short period of time to eat that thing or do that thing or drink that thing. Um, you know, because actions can be self-medicating too. The reality is, like, if you don't know what you're feeling, if you can't tune into yourself, we're not going to get past it. And again, the conversation might never end, but it's going to be quieter. You're going to notice it sooner before the noise gets louder. And if you do end up deciding to eat something, you'll eat less of it, or you will choose something that is consciously a different version of it. And then when the time comes where you do get to indulge, like out to dinner or something like that, you can do so mindfully, enjoy it, and really taste it for what it is. It's enjoyable, it's delicious, this is really wonderful, and I'm full. I don't need more of it. I enjoyed every bite of it, and I don't need any more. So the exercise is, and it sounds overly simple, but it's something that has made a huge impact on me as recently as this week, when I found myself becoming overwhelmed. So take out a piece of paper. You can do it in the Note app on your phone, but I find it just doesn't feel as it doesn't feel as tactile. Like, you can't get it into your body as much as when you're writing it. But that's just me personally. So first things first, we're going to tune into you, who you are. Take the next 3 minutes. Maybe 3 minutes is too long. But we're going to write down all of the I am statements that you can think of. So if I was doing this, I'm writing, I am Patrick. You know, the sound of my own name used to give me like, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. I've done a lot of therapy on it, but the sound of my own name is something that just like still weirds me out sometimes. But I am Patrick. I am Logan and Hunter's dad. I am Donna's husband. I am Sally and Joe's son. I am Katie, Gretchen, and Ryan's brother. I am an uncle. I am a friend. I am a personal trainer. I am someone who loves to help people. and I'm a flawed person, and I am insert feeling here: overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated, happy, full of light. All of these things are valid feelings. You can write all of these things out. If you need to take a longer time to do this, just pause the video and keep going. Um, but take that moment to reflect on whatever the feeling is that comes up. I am overwhelmed. I feel this in my stomach. It feels like a fist. It feels like burning. It feels like I can't sit still. And this is going to be hard. Like really reflecting on what you're feeling, the reality of how that feeling feels in your body is going to be challenging. And notice when you do that, what do you want to do? What is the thing that comes up first when you recognize that feeling? Is it food? Is it coffee? Is it having a beer? Do you want to run away? All of that is valid. Those are all real reactions and things that you've probably learned, skills that have kept you here for as long as you are. The reality is, though, that those coping things probably aren't going to help you with the change you're trying to make. And a lot of these feelings are going to come up when you are trying to make a change in your life. And the resistance of your old life is going to be very, very, very strong. It is. That's why we have all these interventions, the food logging, the people doing fasting and different diets and different exercise protocols and all of this stuff. We're trying to override the fear of change. We are doing our best to give you tools and signals that are stronger and more positive than the old life. That's a heavy one, man. Like, that is heavy. You have to physically shed, both through force, like workouts and stuff, and through release, the things of your old life that aren't going to serve you. And again, your old life. I say this to say, like, you are enhancing who you are to a version of you that can prioritize your own well-being. That's what we're doing. We're not shedding the old you, the old identity, but there are parts of your old identity that have kept you safe and healthy for some time, and that aren't serving you anymore. And the loss of those is pain. It's hard. I mean, and the reason that this came up for me, there's been some conversation on this in the community, and in my DMs, but like, we just recently lost my wife's uncle, and I got to meet him for the first time when we were in the Philippines this last December and spend a ton of time with him. He was in like the rural area with us, the provincial area. He went all the way to the like island kind of hotel thing that we did for a little bit. We spent a ton of time together, and he had, or had, I guess, had dementia. So he was in and out, but he worked every single day to remember me, to remember my kids, and say hi to us and give hugs when he could. And he just passed yesterday. And the hardest part about it is not being able to be with the family that's struggling. My father-in-law is here, and he is, sorry, I hadn't planned on talking about this today. He is not somebody who shows a lot of pain. You ask him how he's doing, and he goes, I'm okay. It's his brother, man. It's his brother. And they've lived on other sides of the world for a long time, but they talked every single night. Sorry. So we got together over dinner last night and shared memories and kind of celebrated the time that we got to spend with him, and just were around my father-in-law. Just spent time with him because that's the best thing we can do, right? Um, and there was emotional eating last night. Everybody ate, probably more than they would have. Um, but we're laughing and we're having fun together and we're enjoying our time. And like, is that such a bad thing in that moment, that we're eating and laughing and enjoying ourselves and eating probably a little bit more than we should have? Was it mindful? Yeah, but in a different way. Um, so emotional eating is not so bad in that way. Um, Sharing food together is something that brings people together. It's joy, it's love, it's happiness, it's community. Um, so if emotional eating is something that you struggle with, like really truly struggle with, know that you're not alone. It's okay. And when you are ready, try to bring a little bit more awareness to what you're eating. Notice that if things don't taste so good by the 4th, 5th, 20th bite, you can stop. You can put the food away and not keep going once you've gotten the little bit of dopamine hit that you got, and recognize that dopamine hit doesn't last super long. That you're going to feel a little unsettled afterwards, and that's normal. Especially as you start to put effort into changing this. It's something I think about all the time. It's something I regularly still consider when I'm upset or when I'm frustrated. The pantry calls to me more days than it doesn't. I think about food all day long. What am I going to eat next? What am I going to eat next? Have I eaten enough this? Have I eaten enough that? And that's just me. That might not be you, and that's cool. But it's something that I struggle with and have for a long time, and it just has required me to be more mindful of what I'm eating, when I'm eating. And for those of you who are considering medical intervention, GLP-1s, Ozempic, tirzepatide, all of that stuff, supposedly that's supposed to go away. That food noise is quieter. I have 2 clients who are trying this, and they do recognize that the food noise is quieter. It's not something that, like, you don't think you have your meal, and then as you start to get hungry, you think about your next meal. You don't think about food between. I wonder what that would feel like. But it's not something like, I mean, uh, um, you know, I'm curious, but it's not something I'm doing right now or considering right now. But if it's something that you are considering or doing, know that I'm glad you're getting help. I'm glad there's something that's going to help you break through this barrier. I'm glad that this exists, because it can be incredibly powerful when fat loss is the #1 goal, the only thing on your mind in regards to your health and fitness. GLP-1s can be incredible. They really can be transformational for people. So I hope this exercise was helpful. I hope that this is something that you enjoyed, that you don't feel so alone in. And this recording will be up in the community and on YouTube. I'm actually going to leave this one public on YouTube. Excuse me. Because I think it could be helpful for lots of people. Right. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please leave a comment in the Sustainable 60 chat if this was helpful for you, if you have questions, if you'd like to do more of these things. All right. Take care.